Trick or treat time. Trick or treat time. Trick or treat time. Get treats, it's time for Halloween.
Good evening. Hello and welcome to Terrorthon once again. Today I would like to talk about one of the greatest directors of all time, if not the greatest, certainly my personal favourite, the late, great Alfred Hitchcock. Mr. Hitchcock was the subject of quite a few controversies throughout his life, but we'll not be touching on those today. Today we're talking exclusively about his work. He first began work in Great Britain as a title card designer for movies, before being finally given the opportunity to direct his first movie, The Pleasure Garden, in 1925. He would continue to direct movies every year, sometimes 2 films were pumped out a year, and in 1940, Mr. Hitchcock's film Rebecca won the Oscar for Best Picture, the most prestigious award of the Oscars. Shortly after this, he moved to Hollywood and continued to pump out his suspense and murder stories. And in 1960 he released what was possibly his most famous work, Psycho. This movie would forever change the landscape of cinema. Amongst its many honours, it was the first movie to ever show not only a toilet, but a flushing toilet. Truly revolutionary. In 1955 he was also offered his very own television programme called Alfred Hitchcock Presents, which was later retitled to the Alfred Hitchcock Hour when its length doubled. This show ran from 1955 to 1965. Amongst his other most famous works we have Vertigo, The Man Who Knew Too Much, Rear Window, amongst many others. If you've ever taken a film class, there is absolutely no chance you have not heard of this man. He was known as the master of suspense, and for good reason. He was an absolute pioneer and changed cinema forever before he died in 1980. To this day, Mr. Hitchcock's work is often imitated but never surpassed, and only a couple of years ago he had a movie made about his life starring Anthony Hopkins, which I believe is worth a watch if you would like a crash course on the production of Psycho, one of the most revolutionary movies ever concocted. And that is a very brief summary of the career of the greatest director who ever lived, in this humble idiot's opinion. Alfred Hitchcock, the master of suspense.